Hi, it's Suzanne Thompson, otherwise known as Mad Ann Bailey. I am doing some trek prep today. I have my full kit and gear on. A completely unexpected surprise, it is 60 degrees today in February. So it is a bit warm, warmer than I would like for it to be. But I have everything I will need for my ladies or outdoor wilderness ladies trek coming up in March. The area where I am is just absolutely beautiful. There's running water. There's about I think it's about 800 degrees of elevation gain. So it's a really good area to do some trek prepping. I can't show you very easily my boots, but I am wearing boots today, which are probably what I will be wearing on the trail. A lot of you guys, the ladies that are going on the trek, have asked me, what about shoes? What shoes should I wear? What shoes do you wear? My opinion, totally just my opinion, the worst shoes to wear are moccasins. They just don't provide enough really good coverage in terms of if you step on something, it could easily puncture. They also, I've seen other ladies on the trail who just couldn't get any traction, and they were literally like sliding down the trail. And one of the things that we did is I usually carry some extra rope and some extra leather. So we tied that extra leather around their moccasins for two reasons: to help keep them on, which, you know, if they're well-made moccasins, they're not really going to fall off very easily. But if it's snowing or if it's muddy or you're wet, then obviously the leather's going to stretch and they could easily be much looser than you really want them to be. So we tied the leather around the base of, or the bottom of their foot, and tied it around the ankle, tied it at the top, and that gave just a little bit more grip, which worked out really a lot better than the moccasins by themselves. Other times I wear, usually in the past I've worn a pair of Fagawi shoes. They're ladies, girls, I think they're the Claire. I'm not sure what their name is, but in any case, they have a little bit of a heel on it, and the great thing about that is that they actually give me a little bit more ability to dig my heel in. And you know, when you're going up a really steep embankment, you're not walking straight up it. That's crazy. You're gonna kind of tack across. You're gonna go a little way over and come back a little way up, a little bit further over. But those girl shoes, as I call them, they have a heel on them, and they actually work really well. I personally don't feel like I slide around nearly as much in those as I have done in moccasins before. And then the other thing, and I hate to even really talk about these because Robert Land, as far as I know, is not making any more boots. But I have this great pair of Robert Land boots that are my favorite to wear. They have hobnails and they are sturdy. They give my ankle support, and they are a good 18th century replica shoe. For my money, those are the best that I can get. I looked online and I saw that Fagawi is offering a higher, what they call trekking boot, and honestly I might order a pair of those and just give them a try before the trek. If in fact I decide to wear those for the trek, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna log, I don't know, maybe at least 10, 15, maybe 20 miles in them before I get out there. And turns out that it's not a great fit for me. So I would recommend, whatever you're going to wear on the trek for your shoes, your footwear, log some miles, and not just treadmill miles, okay? Because those are not the same. Get out in the woods in the stockings that you're going to wear, and wear those shoes, and just experience it. See how it goes for you. I am carrying everything that I plan to take on the trek with me except my rifle. I am out in Indianapolis at a pretty public park, so I didn't opt to bring my rifle. But as you can see, I have my bedroll, my backpack or knapsack, my canteen and my small axe. I love this little one. It's a little bit more appropriate than the big axe that I have that Tom Landefeld made me. It's a gorgeous axe, and it's great for around camp, or rather I should say like at Martin's, if I have a cabin or something like that. That would be a little better. This is great for on the trail, but the downside is it's not going to cut a tree down. In you know, technically, modern times being what they are, you shouldn't be cutting any trees down, but if you're on private land or something like that, you may do that. In my pockets, I have my map, and this is not actually a map of where we are going because for safety purposes, I would not release that. But I do recommend that you keep a map of the area that you're going. What you can kind of see on this map, this is a little bit older one from the first, I think it might have been the first trek I went on with Jim Jacobs. And what I did, honestly, I just traced it. I'm just telling you. I put it on a piece, or I put it on a light, and I just traced a topographical map, and I show the waterways. I gave a pretty good idea of what the elevations are, and of course I have marked where north is. I also have a little compass. Keeping a compass is critical. Even if you're in a larger group and you think you're going to be with that group the entire time, it's still important just in case. It's crazy the way things happen and someone can get lost. I know in one situation, somebody got up in the middle of the night just to go to the bathroom, did the right thing, went a little further away from camp. Technically, we were camped near a river or creek, and so you were supposed to go 100 feet away from the creek. So this person did that, and when she was finished with her business, she kind of looked around and was like, oh, wait, which way do I go? Fortunately, because we were by the river, she could easily hear which way to go, but it can be disorienting in the woods at any time. Now, am I telling you you need to take your compass to go to the bathroom? Probably not, but it's just an illustration of my point, to bring your map and your compass and keep them handy. Having a map and having a compass but not having them handy means that you may go further off your trail than you really wanted to. You may have to stop and take a break, pull out your knapsack or your backpack and dig it out. That's not really generally the best way to go about it. A couple of thoughts I have on my setup here. I can walk the miles that are necessary for this trek. It's not a matter of my capability of the mileage. It's how I carry everything that makes it harder or easier. And this particular setup is killing me. I'm just telling you. I have there they are, the straps on my backpack, and other than that, right now I have my camera use the thong that I use to tie this under here is tying the camera to a tree. But usually I have a rope under here that gives it a little bit more support, holds my knapsack closer to my back and tighter to me. And it's not this that I'm having a problem with. This is actually pretty comfortable. I don't have a problem with it. What I have a problem with is my bedroll. It's so heavy, and I just think what I'm going to have to do. I gave Shelly the materials, and she made a fantastic pack last year for her trek, and so she and I have been corresponding back and forth, and she is making me a new pack. This one has served me well. I've had it for 10 years, I guess now, and it does the trick, but some modifications that I think will be helpful will be adjustable straps. You see this? Look, I am not a seamstress. It's a freaking miracle that I made this. So it doesn't have adjustable straps. I would add that. I would add that chest piece across here, and I will add a buckle to that probably. I don't know, maybe instead of a buckle, maybe I'll just tie it. Tying is easier than buckling. I don't know. But in my pack, I'm not gonna dig everything out because it's not super easy to do that right now. But the basics. I have this piece of lambskin or wool that I just pulled off of, or I cut off of another piece, and I could use this under this heavy bedroll. There we go. I think that, and that would give it a little bit, oh, it does actually, it gives it a lot more cushion, and I could do a better job if I weren't trying to film. But so I can tuck that in there, and it does really help. But it, you know, I really think if the weight were evenly distributed, it's not that it's terribly heavy, it's that it's completely all on one shoulder, and that's what's killing me. So that's when Shelly makes my new backpack knapsack. We're gonna set it up so that my bedroll can attach to that pack and be 2 straps with a chest strap, and I really believe that's going to make a huge difference for me. Again, in my pack I have some mitts. These are beautiful. Beth Sturtevant made them, and they are wonderful. It is 60 degrees, so I don't need them out on today. I have the rope, and I'm super excited today. Hopefully when I get home I will have a package from Mary and Daryl, Brandenburg Storehouse. I bought some new rope, and it is I bought the 4-ply handmade rope from them, from Mary and Daryl. And I think Daryl was the one that really, he said the 4-ply is going to be fine, but the 6-ply would be better for if I was stretching canvas between the trees and so forth. I have a little bit of the 6-ply rope, so I just ordered, I think, 50 feet of the 4-ply. So I'm excited to get those hopefully when I get home. And I would do a better job than just a big giant bundle of rope. That's just what I had today. What else? I have some food in here. I have some sausage, some cheese, and bread. Just enough for a little snack that for today. Not anything big. My non-period item that I will share with you today is a water purification pump. Look, I don't want to die, and I don't want to have I don't want to be incredibly inconvenienced and uncomfortable on the trail and in the woods. So I put it in a little bag, but it is a great water pump. I don't know how you say that, catadin, not sure. But it is a great pump, and it comes in its own little bag. I know last year I did not take this little bag. I just used the cloth one that I had. It's a simple process. I don't need to describe the whole thing. I don't need to tell you how to pump water. But I also did, in my modern pack, I keep a separate bottle or a separate container so that I can pump into this and then boil still. Where I was last year, where we were on our trek, it was there was mine runoff in the got some kids out here, it's really cute, but we had mine runoff in the creek or river, and so when I called the ranger station, they recommended that everything must be double treated. So pumping first and then boiling was the method that we used. So like I said, may not be period correct, but your other option is basically, if you know where you're going to go and you have the opportunity to go out a few days ahead and cache some water, that's fine. water's probably, for me, it's kind of like shoes. It's the hardest thing on the trail. It's heavy and you can't do without it. My non-period solution is a water pump. And we had, I can't remember if we had two or if we just used or just one. I think it was just one, for 9 of us, and it worked fine. It's a slow process, but it gets it done, and nobody got, what is it, Giardia or something like that. Things you don't want. Now, things you do want, maybe, depending on your tastes, for a 3-day, 2-night trek, I don't mind if I do. The whole purpose of the trek is not to enjoy too much of this, but there is a lot of time beside the fire, and if you enjoy a wee dram, there you go. Not sure who made that. Maybe Ted Cash. I've had it for a long time. Ta-da! A plate. Peggy says she doesn't like a plate. She doesn't need a plate. She just finds a scrap piece of wood, and that's what she uses. Kudos to her. I think Peggy is amazing, and I like a plate though. So I'm gonna keep mine. It's super lightweight, and Eugene made this. I don't know what the wood is. Oh yes I do, because it says on the back. It's sycamore. And you'll notice I have a Z on all my stuff. Everything I have has a big Z on it, because you know, at the end of a trek or at the end of a camp, everybody's like, wait, where did this plate, whose plate is this? Zan. It's my plate. So I have that. I don't need I don't need another knife, but I want one. So I have a nice little camp knife. On the trek, I may not take this because I already have my I have a knife, and I would, if I were going to forfeit one, it would be this one and not the other one that I carry. It's tucked in there. What else? My kettle and coffee and a small cup. I carry all of that because if I don't have coffee, I might kill somebody. And my kettle is great for rice, or a lot of times on the trail I'll do just some sausage and rice. It's a great, easy trail dinner. I like to add a lot of vegetables, maybe some peas, some carrots, dried or dehydrated, and that works really nicely. Shelly has been kind enough to bring some venison, and others have as well. Sometimes I've been lucky enough to be the one that gets to bring it. A nice little frying pan. You can add a stick if you choose to. I typically don't, but remember this little piece of lambskin? This is also really good for keeping yourself from being burned. So I would have that. And if you're going to have your frying pan and your kettle, I suppose you better have your fire kit. I keep all of my my char and a flint steel, but mostly char in here, and that way I have plenty of that. I have tow. Anytime you're in the woods and you come across, I should say if you're on private land, because with the principles of leave no trace, you would not want to do any damage to the trees around you. But if you're on private land and you come across some cedar trees particularly, you'll want to pull some of that off and add it to your fire kit. I think all I have right now is mostly just tow that I've bought, and probably one of what I consider to be one of the most important things is a little candle stub, to have that first thing you do when you start your fire. As soon as you have a flame, get that candle in there and get that lit, and then remember that little cup I had, or in my kettle, I'll set my candle inside there to keep it protected so it's not going to get blown out. But that way, just in case your fire doesn't go as well as planned, you have a second way to get it going again. So I carry my fire kit, and then something, oh, I also love this. It's just a little blow tube, you know, it's just a piece of river cane. It's kind of nice when you're trying to get your fire started, or keeping it in the morning, particularly getting your coals hot to get going again. Something we don't always talk about, I already showed you my non-period water purification. So when I'm on a trek and it's that late night call or first thing early in the morning and you have to go to the bathroom, I don't want to dig through all this stuff to find the things that I'm looking for. So I have this lovely, I think Ken Moore made this red wallet, and I'll just be honest, it has some non-period correct things in there. It has a little bit of some first aid things. I have some Benadryl and other medications, just some Advil, some Tylenol. I do, for myself, because I have thrown my back out a couple of times, I have some really, really strong pain medicine just in case. And then just basic toiletries. Just common courtesy. First of all, I think we all know on the trail, when you are going to the bathroom, you're going to go away from your camp. Dig your hole, they call it a cat hole, dig your little hole, do your business, cover your hole, put a stick in it so the next girl or guy that comes along knows where you've already been. Do not, I'm just saying, do not burn the wipes. If you use wipes, don't take them back to your freaking camp and burn them. They stink, for one thing, and it's gross. I'll be honest, again, not period correct, but I keep an extra little Ziploc, and if it isn't buried, it's leave no trace, and take it with you and get rid of it when you get to a place where you can do that. You do what you want. I don't really care what you do, but that's just me and what I will do. Because nobody likes issues like that on the trail. I've got a little anti-diarrhea medication too. Obviously, nobody likes that. I have a few Band-Aids and things of that nature, and the Neosporin. Just simple, just basic stuff. I'm taking a wilderness first aid class in 2 weeks, and I hate to say I'll probably upgrade or maybe just trade out a lot of this stuff for the things that they will recommend. Here's something that's kind of weird that's happened to me lately. I already read I have the book, the textbook they sent for this class, and so I've been reading it, and I've also been reading a lot of backpacker books and AT and Pacific Crest Trail prep books, just to kind of get some ideas on the whole trekking thing. And it's so weird. I've been trekking for 10 years, and all of a sudden now I'm like, oh my God, this could happen. Oh my gosh, this could happen. What if this happens? You just have to strike a balance. Things can happen. Where we were last year on the trail was by far the most difficult and dangerous place I've ever been on the trail. And truly the thought of trying to get somebody out of there if they were immobilized in some way, it was daunting. I don't know. All I can say is refer back to my general 3 rules of trekking. The basics for me are: carry your own crap, be ready to carry someone else's crap if you need to or they need your help, and don't bitch. Carry your own crap, be ready to carry somebody else's crap, and don't bitch. Your attitude, your mental attitude on the trail is probably the most important thing you're going to take with you. It could suck. I'm just saying, it could rain the entire time. don't bitch about it. It's not going to help. It's not going to make it any better. It's not raining on you any more than it is somebody else. So just help everybody maintain a positive attitude, and just don't bitch. It makes a big difference. So last thing, I have my my water. Gosh, see, this is something I hate. I'll be honest, I just hate all these damn straps. This is why I want to, this is why I want that new backpack, because this is a disaster, and I can't be the only person that's had this happen. One awesome option, that if I hadn't thought of it, would have been a pain in the neck, but I do have a buckle on my bedroll, and so I can take it off that way. Hey, it's one blanket. Seriously, it's one blanket. It is a wool bed gown, an extra pair of socks, a small, thin, unlined pair of moccasins, and a hat, and that's it. And one giant, huge Tony Baker blendle. I guess it's just the price of being warm on the trail, and my oilcloth, of course. Something you can see now, I have a really thin, lightweight oilcloth cape, which is great because remember, as I said, it could rain the whole time, and having that little capelet it has a hood, it ties here, it covers my whole bedroll and knapsack, so I love that thing. I think that's pretty much all I can really tell you. I was trying out a few new things. I like to do something a little different all the time. I don't think anybody in the history of the world has ever seen me in a cap. Ta-da! I don't know, just trying something different this time. I have a different gown on today than I usually wear on the trail. I'm not sure I'm going to actually wear it when I go on the trail, because on our trek, guys, I know you could care less, but for me, for ladies, where these gowns are cut, sometimes they cut right into your armpits, and whereas when you're at a fort or rendezvous or wherever you might be, it may not be a big deal. But when you're on a trek and you are climbing and you have to use your arms, sometimes you have to, believe it or not, you have to raise your hands above your head. And so some gowns, just the way they're cut, they just don't give enough mobility. So I probably won't wear this gown. I'll wear the same green gown I always wear. It's a wool. It's lightweight, it's comfortable, and yeah, it's starting to get a few rips and tears and torn. It's my thing. I like it. Could I do without my knife? Yes. Women on the frontier, I haven't seen any references whatsoever. Zero. Even Anne, to having a belt knife. And I guess my interpretation of Anne is that she took up her husband's belongings. She wore his coat, his leggings, and she wore boots on the trail. I guess this is my concession to reenactorisms. I don't know. I don't encourage anybody else to do it. I wish I were a better person that would say, hello, Suzanne, if you don't recommend it to somebody else, why would you do it? But nonetheless, here I am, and I'm doing it. Like I said, Canteen, I ordered this from Townsend. It's great. It did not come with this cover. This is my own lovely sewing job modification. Maybe it's just because my buttons, maybe someday in an alternate universe I would ever change these buttons out to leather or something that isn't so loud, but whenever the Canteen would hit my buttons or bump into my rifle, I just didn't like it. Plus I feel like the wool just protects it a little bit more. I don't know. Huh, interesting. I did spill a little. I think that's why. It was not leaking the last time I used it. Maybe I better check. But that's it. Okay, so this is the whole point of this video and what I'm out here doing today. It's a trial run. Let's just say I could have broken that canteen. I could have smacked it up against a tree, or who knows what I've done to it. Anything could have happened. But wouldn't I rather come out here to my local park and trek a couple miles, 2 miles, and find out that the darn thing is leaking before I get out on my trek, and I'm, you know what, 5-6 hours from home, and I have 3 days on the trail, 2 nights on the trail, and I have a canteen that won't hold water? That's why we do trek prep. That's why I'm out here. It's what I'm encouraging you to do. If you're going to get out in the woods this spring, I guess it's spring, whether you're going with us on our ladies trek, or if you're going out on your own, train for it. It's not hard. It's fun, you know? Get out, carry your stuff, make sure everything's fitting, make sure everything works right for you, and get out on the trail. Have a good time, and I hope to see you out there soon.